What's up everybody and welcome back to another video, a discussion video. Today guys, we are talking about the future of Doctor Who. Is it bright? Is it dark? Is it gloomy? Is it somewhere in between? We're going to be talking about everything folks, apart from the actual episode, the Interstellar Song Contest. Just kidding. Stick around to the end folks, and I'm going to be talking about some of your guys' thoughts on the episode. This is not a community reaction, do not worry, the community reaction is coming later in the week, but at the same time I want to get some discussion out there because I think it will be fun. But let's talk about the future of Doctor Who. What does it hold? I don't usually make videos about this. I made one about 8 months ago, but that's a bit out of date, and we have some new news, a new article from an insider leaking to The Mirror. The Mirror, of course, in the past have been rather reputable when it comes to Doctor Who stuff, but as always, I just want to let you guys know to take all of this with a grain of salt. Complete rumor, complete hearsay, nothing in stone whatsoever. Basically, what the article is saying is that regardless of Disney money, the plan is to continue production of new Doctor Who with an approximate air date for Series 16 in 2027, 2 years, holy fuck. It's a bit sad that we're at the point that that's good news, but it is still good news. For me, it's rather difficult because this is more or less what we already knew. A lot of people messaged me on Discord where I found out about this article. A lot of people were very excited, but actually reading it, there's not a lot here. There's not anything new. That's all we know. I still think that it's best to wait until season 2, the end of season 2 I mean, when Disney will tell Rusty Davies whether or not they plan to renew. Although I think we all know, because we can just tell in the vibe, that Disney is not planning to renew. And this article is running under the assumption that they're not planning to renew. And it's basically assuring us that even if they don't, Doctor Who can still survive, which we all knew. We all knew that that was possible. The question was how possible? How far? How much can we make without that money? Now, the implication this article makes is that it will be the same 8 episodes. I'm here to tell you right now, it's definitely not. This article is heavily downplaying the importance of Disney's financial contribution. The article states that the only money that Disney provided was going towards upscaling from 2K to 4K. That is not true. That is not true. There's a lot of numbers being thrown around. The main ones are 100 million and 40 million. People are approximating that the budget for the series, this series, was around 40 million, and maybe for the full 26 commission was 100 million. That's a complete theory, complete hearsay. Let me throw that out there again. And that Doctor Who's yearly intake, yearly profit is 100 million for the BBC, which is a good number, a healthy number. However, people are theorizing how much of that 40 million budget is paid for by Disney. The main theory that I'm hearing is that a quarter of it is 10 million. 10 million from Disney to Bad Wolf. But it's realistically impossible to know, and we have so much contradictory information. It's crazy. When the 60th anniversary was coming out and being made, I did not know whether or not that was with Disney money or not. Was it retroactively pulled into the Disney deal? Everything afterwards seems to contradict that, but at the time, that's what they were implying. The origin of Rusty Davies 2, for you guys who might be curious, was that the BBC desperately wanted a distributor worldwide. They wanted Doctor Who to be bought up by a streaming service. When you know that that was the conceptualized ideal for the era, that was the pitch, that was the brief, it does make it quite difficult to believe that the show would be able to function exactly the same without the streamer. Chris Chibnall also came out and said that it was impossible to keep Doctor Who going without a streaming service, and he was the last one who was on it. So, and what does that say about that? You guys know me, I was never a fan of the going with Disney Plus. I think it really held the show back, and I think it has held the show back. So it would kind of take me out of it if they came out and said now, actually we didn't need Disney all along, it didn't make any difference. We were just doing that because we wanted to go to 4K. And the reason why it would bother me is because it's so blatantly not true. Disney has had a massive impact on this story. There's been a lot of hands in the pie with this new era, you can kind of tell. And I think it would be a bit disingenuous to say it would just be business as normal if Disney left. I personally think if there is going to be a Series 3 or Series 16, which we'll talk about the numbering in a second, I think the episode count will be reduced yet again. I think ideal world, 6. Realistically more 3 or 4. I think it's going to be more of a kind of 60th anniversary specials type deal, but that will be now rebranded into a series of 4. Hopefully a series of 4 1 hours, please? I'm coping here, guys. But I just find it impossible to believe that if a Series 3, Series 16 does go ahead, that it would be exactly the same as if Disney weren't there. Now, the ideal world would actually be Disney sticks around, end of season 2, but I don't know. It's all up in the air. Please prove me wrong. wrong. I think it's impossible for me to get really positive until we hear these announcements and until we hear something official. When something official comes out, boy better know I'm going to be making a video. That is when I'm really going to go full steam ahead. I'm going to talk about it. I've kind of got to, you know, walk around all of the issues because we just really don't know. And it makes for quite an interesting and unique situation. The numbering. This is something very interesting. If Disney goes, they were the ones who renamed it as Season 1 and all of that so that it could fit on their platform. Would we return to Series 16? Russell T Davies says that internally they call it Series 14 and 15 in DWM. That's what he said. He said he likes Series 14. He says he likes thinking it as a Series 14. It seems quite obvious when you watch it that it's meant as a Series 14. I mean, yeah, they're kind of leaving it open for new viewers to join in, but they do that every season anyway. They do that with Series 15. It does definitely feel like a Series 14 to me. You're just going to be completely lost if that's your first series, unless you're a little kid, in which case you learn quick, so that's all good. Every new Doctor is a jumping on point. Would they retroactively reverse that though? There's a question for you guys in the comments. Do you think they'll do that? I don't know. I feel like I would like that. I feel like I would actually like them to revert it and then to put all of Doctor Who together again. I think that would be really nice. I think that would add to this era quite a bit, but that's just me with my pet peeve fan brain. I would definitely like a Series 16, a Series 17. It's rather difficult to know. There's so many rumors. The shooting out with Regeneration, is that happening? Is he sticking on? Would he stick on for 2027? 2 years? Dang. They would definitely do the 2 series back to back, and then after Series 17 there's no chance that Rusty Davies is staying. But still, everything is just so in flux. Everything's so up in the air. Even when good news comes out, it's still really difficult to know where you are. We're completely in shifting sands here. The future of Doctor Who, title of the video, is completely up in the air. I've got no idea. I will say, from this article, my vibes have shifted from positively pessimistic to cautiously optimistic. I do have a bit more optimism in my heart. If you go back and watch some of my earlier videos, I was a straight doomer. I thought that the reality war might be the last Doctor Who episode in like years. What would be crazy is if they keep the show going to 2029. Is history repeating itself yet again, folks? I'll let you be the judge. It is wild to me, this whole situation. I'd really like to know your guys' thoughts because I don't believe the article straight up when it says that the Disney money has no effect and that they'll be able to keep going business as usual. I also think that if that was possible, then them waiting a full year with no conversation about a Series 3 is just insane. Rusty Davies, of course, in those clips saying there's no Series 3, we've not talked about it at all. All of those news round clips, all of those Radio Times clips, it just seems weird to me that we can all instantly switch back to positive mode and say Doctor Who's back thanks to an unofficial rumoured announcement. I don't know. I want it to be true. I want it to be true so bad, you guys. I really do. But I don't know. I don't know.
What does the future hold for Doctor Who beyond Season 2? How far ahead are you?
We're not. It's like, as is really commonly known, there's no decision until after Series 3. It's funny because even people who work on the show thinks that means we're having secret meetings about it. People I work with every day go, yeah, what's really happening? And I'm going, nothing. No meetings, nothing. That's when the decision is. And the decision wouldn't be made by the people we work with at Disney Plus. It would be made by someone in a big office somewhere. So literally nothing happening, no decision. We're ready with just different plans. Could go this way, could go that way, could go that way. That's our job, to be ready. We're ready anyway. But we'll find out. Yeah. Dying to find out. Hope it comes back.
And obviously Doctor Who as a brand, absolutely incredible. It's been going for so long. There are always people who say pretty much every year and going to get shut down. It's going to get cancelled. It's not going to last. What would you say about the strength of Doctor Who's brand in response to kind of things like that?
I think Doctor Who will always be around in people's hearts and minds, and it'll never go away in that respect, right? It's been around for 60 years. It'll continue to be around for as long as people love adventures in space and time.
Anyway, what do you guys think? This is a very different type of video and I've got plenty planned for the week. This is going to be a completely hectic week and I've got to say it, we are so close to 30,000 subscribers. As you guys know, that is the goal. That is the goal. We are this close. I'm going to be uploading as many videos as is humanly possible. Okay, I'm going to be going ham bone. And with this episode, with this cliffhanger, I mean, it's just been insane. So please, dear Lord, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that jazz. You guys already know. I'm desperate out here, people. But at the same time, as you all know, simply watching the videos is more than enough. I love you guys so much. But stick around, that's not the end of the video. Yep, let's go over a few of your guys' thoughts from the Twitter. We hit 1K followers. Let's go. I'm going to be going over a handful of your guys' thoughts on the episode to kind of ease us into the community reaction later in the week. That's why this video wasn't about the Interstellar Song Contest. That's because the next video is going to be about... Is that clear? Hopefully. First tweet. Here's the first one from Certified Axon Enjoyer. Great username, by the way. The best episode of 15's era thus far. God damn, we got it, folks. We got it again. Best story in years. Trademark that shit. I feel like I've gotten this comment, this post, this reply. I've seen this sentiment for every single episode since the Star Beast. I'm not even kidding. This shit is crazy to me. But keep it coming. I love your username, bro. Moving on to the next one. Here is one from Red E Cyphered. No username. I didn't know you could do that. I actively screamed, cried, walked around my room. I had to confer with the rest of my family because we all love watching Doctor Who. And God, I was not prepared for that. Interesting, it came out during the Eurovision season with the subtle real world commentary. Subtle. Now, it does say 1 out of 2 at the end there, but trust me, I checked. There is no reply to this tweet, right? It says 1 out of 2. There's nothing there. Maybe they're waiting to reply. It has been a few hours now. But yeah, this is the type of emotions that I love for Doctor Who to evoke. I remember when Spyfall came out, that mask reveal, I stood up. I stood up in my chair watching Doctor... I could not believe it. I don't think any reveal has really hit me as hard as that while watching. I mean, I just couldn't believe that one, like, at all. It came out of nowhere, and it was insane, and the music was crazy. And yeah, the reveals in this episode weren't as good as that. But to be fair, I don't know if any reveal in Doctor Who was as good as that. That shit got me so unfathomably hyped. I cannot believe it. But I remember, I love moments like this. I remember when the first Doctor showed up in the Doctor Falls. I mean, technically that was leaked, I'm pretty sure, but I didn't see the leak. Peter Capaldi showing up in Day of the Doctor. Hell, the end of Day of the Moon where the girl starts regenerating. All of this stuff got me so unfathomably excited, and I kind of love that Doctor Who's doing that again. In my opinion, that's where it really shines, and that's actually where it gets its hooks in people. That's where it makes it really difficult to stop watching, because once you've got a hit of that, oh my god, you're going to be chasing it for years, people, for years. On the Eurovision commentary, I'm going to be talking about this more in the community reaction, but as time goes on, I'm becoming, you know, a little bit more critical of this episode's direction to it. I still don't think it's bad because I think it comes from good intentions, but I do think that it's weird we don't see an epilogue. I think that's actually my criticism for the story, is that actually the majority of what's in there works fine. Now, some of it you can raise an eyebrow at, and I understand that, and there is a lot to criticize, but I think it would all be a lot better if it was wrapped up a bit more. When I watched the episode, I was like, oh, we sing a song and that's it, that's the end. How about those people maybe don't go to prison? I know they almost killed 3 trillion people. How about this? The kid could go to prison, but Wynn doesn't need to go to prison. How about that? It's less so like the actual... This is weird because it goes against what I was saying in Lucky Day, but it's less so the actual like actions that happen in universe, but more so for what it represents. You know what I mean? It just seems like a bit of a weird thing. I suppose it's both, because it doesn't make sense in universe that singing a song would make it all right on the Poppy Honey sponsored event, right? Like they're still the ones who are in control of the whole platform. That's why it all falls apart. But I feel like maybe showing the aftermath, showing that things did turn out all right, being a bit more hopeful. I don't know. I wouldn't exactly call the commentary subtle, and I wouldn't call it perfect, which is a problem because I think it does need to be perfect if you are going to talk about this, even though I still think they did do a good enough job because it came from the right place. Whereas in Lucky Day, yes, it did also come from the right place, but it was just so hilariously inept that I can't even give it props. It just sucked there. I feel like for a lot of people though, this is going to be their lucky day, this episode. Oh, poor you. I hope you can at least do what I did with Lucky Day and enjoy the other people around you who are enjoying it. As I said in my review though, I get it. I understand every ounce of criticism that comes towards this episode, and I don't want to downplay that or say that you're wrong for feeling that way, because frankly you're not. In a way, I'm kind of wrong, but at the same time, it is how I feel. I'm going to be honest with how I feel. That just is what it is. But anyway, third and final tweet. This one's from Freddie. Love this guy. Had to rewatch to gather my thoughts, but I think the bi-generation stuff is really odd, ? Like, unless it comes out that the Rani has something to do with bi-generation from the start, I really am not a fan of how it was integrated into the episode at all. Love the episode overall, but the mid-credits scene was so, I don't know, just felt weird. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I'm like, well, is bi-generation the thing that everyone's doing now? I think my problem with bi-generation isn't so much that you split in two, it's the fact that it's ugly as fuck. Oh my god, the effect sucks. And I understand it's because it's so technical and difficult to do, but still, maybe then you shouldn't do it. I don't mind bi-generation if the second half, the 14, the Mrs. Flood, all of that. They do an interesting thing with Mrs. Flood being the kind of like lower Rani because she was bi-generated out of. That works, that's something interesting, but yeah, it does feel a little tacked on. And with the 14th Doctor, my problem was never bi-generation, it was the aftermath. It was the fact that the 14th Doctor never went away. It was the fact that there was never that end to his character. It's all open-ended. It's, god, the ending to the giggles garbage. Rant aside, I get it. I actually really enjoy this new actress who's going to be playing the Rani. With Mrs. Flood, never once felt like the Rani. We all had our Rani theory jokes. You guys went back to my old videos and were like, haha, he called it. I did not call shit, bro. I was joking. Let's look at the spoons. What are spoons? Metal, kitchen utensil, musical instrument. Who uses a musical instrument? Who indeed? It's the 7th Doctor. It was his defining trait, like the bow tie for Matt Smith. He used it in what episode? Time and the Rani. Who is the villain in that episode? Time and the Rani. Rani is an anagram of rain. Rains cause what? Floods. Mrs. Flood. You guys seeing what I'm putting down? Mrs. Flood is the Rani. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. The Rain Rani thing has been a meme since 2023, okay? As much as I want to, I cannot claim credit for that. But this new actress, Ajit, I'm pretty sure her name is, she seems so familiar. I'm so convinced I've seen her in something before, but I can't quite put my finger on it. She definitely felt a lot more like the Rani, so I'm quite excited to see that. It also leaves the door open for, as I've seen a million comments already on my videos saying that Mrs. Flood might betray the new Rani to, I don't know, save the day, which is probably what's gonna end up happening. Anyway, those are a handful of thoughts from Twitter. The real community reaction is going to be coming later down the line. I'm going to be giving my full thoughts on the episode. I do still like it. I did get a little critical there, but something that really can't be understated is just how watchable the episode is. It's really well paced. I really enjoyed myself throughout, and there were a lot of kind of jaw drop moments that keep me engaged when one might argue the plot stalls or something happens or blah de blah. And the supporting cast is pretty damn great. But with all that said, please guys, do not forget to subscribe. This week is going to be absolutely insane, so stick along for the ride. We're gonna be going crazy, folks. But anyway, allow me to give a huge shout out to everyone who helps support the channel on both Discord, Patreon, and on YouTube channel memberships. I said both, but that's more than two. You guys, you keep the show a-going. A humongous shout out to everyone who helps support the channel: Tom, Cardboard Oracle, Silver Safi, Bonnie, Zoom, Dr. Hoomst, Jack D. Murray, Vorshcom, The Instinct, Kai Keller, Renegade Time Lord 97, Manny, Eric, Ren, Poop Criminal, Diego, Theta, Dark Tranquil, Chicky, No More Flippin', 6th Doctor Fan 84, Comfy Glitch X, Harry, Sanyu, Hamara God, Noah T, T Mara, Dobcool, Casual Log, E West, Christian Rothfuss, Unreal Dinnerbone, Aidan Davies, Reef Edwards, Space, Amber Knight, Casey, Snarly, Connor Bell, Ertle the Turtle, Andrew Locke, Bill Fleming, Hush, Wasabi, Jessica, Kai M, Kylo Wade, Mel, Owen, Toby One Kenobi, Sophie in the Sky, Goldfish, Johnny, Anthony Lentz, Fuchsia the Jester, Ben Zuko Lives, Freddie, Ross, JRW, Ethan, Hiroki, Swaro, Philippe, Nick, Kastretch, Just Him, and Teddy Bite. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.